to acknowledge, I know that we're going to hear from, for a moment, my counselor, and I'll introduce her in just a moment. But I want to thank you, Ms. Muhammad, for your presence here today.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Thank you.
First of all, let me say to the Floyd family that long before this tragedy took place, we were with the Floyd family. We had a cafe on the corner of Holman and Nally, and we were neighbors with the Floyd family. And when Miss Sissy had a stroke and was on her back, I went next door and I prayed with the family, with Miss Sissy. And let me tell you something, there's no surprise as to how they have conducted themselves under this tremendous spotlight and strain, is because Miss Sissy was flat on her back. She was a large woman. She was flat on her back and not able to move. And she said to us, when we came to help her be moved, when her caretaker couldn't move her, Miss Tina couldn't move her, she said to us, "This is all I have." She was talking about her dignity, Rodney. "This is all I have." So these are a dignified family. Number two, when I went and prayed with her and sat with her, she's a good Christian woman. But you know what she said to me? She said, "When I'm able to walk, I'm going to come to y'all's mosque." And she came to our mosque 2 years later with Big George and a granddaughter. I don't know the granddaughter's name. But between that time, we used to take her back and forth to the Edward Meese Clinic for rehabilitation. Before you were known, before you might get some settlement, we was with you. If you don't get a dime, you don't get justice, we still gonna be with you. So this is no strange thing for us. Our connection with you is that. And for Sister Sheila, your pastor asked us to come and to help with the security, to make sure that Mr. Farrakhan said, make sure that the family has comfort and dignity at the viewing and the homegoing service. And we easily work with HPD, because we've been working with HPD since Lee Brown was the doggone chief of police. The reason why this city doesn't go up in smoke like other cities is because we have an open line. There hasn't been a protest in 33 years that the Nation of Islam either planned, participated, or endorsed, or prosecutorial misconduct with the DA department, from Johnny Holmes up to DA Kim Ogg or the judges. So this is a police bill. Fine. But if we don't, as the community, look at that part in here, Pastor Decker, that talks about us determining what we need to do in terms of police and justice, because nobody gonna talk to us about black on black crime, because we marched no more bloodshed, united in peace. We've done peace rides with the police department before Trey the Truth and before Bishop Dixon. We did peace rides in Greens Point and all over with police escort. We've already worked with them. That's not a problem. But the question we have before us today, Max Miller, is that when are we, as the men of God and the women of God, going to call this city to sackcloth and ashes and lead the atonement? You see, brother, Nineveh was saved because they listened to the prophet Jonah. This city right now is in the midst of what my brother described, is that we have a police chief and assistant chief that's out there with the people, but yet there's a problem with this camera and this transparency. They're caught twixt in between. They don't want the trial to be sent to some place out there in East Texas where the policemen get off, because then hell will break loose. But at the same time, if the family will release the camera, the activists, we're going to see what's going on if the policy was followed. Now, I'm going to try to be respectful because the time and the Congresswoman is about to expire. There's so much. I've got 5 pages of notes. I've just been listening, just been writing. So let me say this. We talk about the system, PJ. It's not the system. The system is a spider web. We can knock down the spider web, and when we look up tomorrow, it'll be back again. You want to know why? Because we didn't kill the spider. What's the spider is the one that reads the word. The spider is the idea of the myth of white supremacy, as the councilwoman said, and black inferiority. What if we pass this law and Mr. Trump signs it? We've had the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, Brown versus Board of Education, Civil Rights Act of 64, Economic Opportunity Act of 64, Voters' Rights Act of 65, Fair Housing Act 1968, Affordable Care and Patient Protection Act of 2010. We're taking down statues, we're renaming bases, we're taking down flags. But if we don't kill the idea of white supremacy, there'll be a pushback like there always was. We had emancipation, Juneteenth, then Reconstruction, then Jim Crow, then we had civil rights, then we lost that, now we law and order, and here we are right back again. Until there is among policemen, get out of this mindset, you are not law enforcement. Listen to me well. You are not law enforcement. Stop taking that mentality. You are peace officers. And there's a difference. Law enforcement is the ones that enforce the Fugitive Slave Act. Law enforcement enforced the women not having the right to vote. Law enforcement enforced segregation. Law enforcement enforced all the wars. War on drugs, war on terror, war on crime, war on this. And let me tell you something, Congresswoman, Mr. Farrakhan teaches us that partisanship is the death of democracy. You, I pray, as my servant and my sister, take this bill and go to your ranking member on that committee, whatever you sign on. Go to a Republican, go straight to them and say that my constituents said that partisanship is the death of democracy. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Racism and bigotry will be the death of this republic. You tell them that it's not about black on black crime and get all that crap out of there. This is about how the police are being used to enforce an oligarchy. And until you as police stop letting yourself get played by the media, so you don't try to be cute. In one sense, you with the people, you're out there, and in another sense, you got your contacts in the media when you want to get your story out. And what happens with George? What happened with George? George was murdered in front of the whole world, and what did they do? They started leaking, the union started leaking out stuff. He was a criminal, he's this, that, and the other. They do that all the time. How does the victim turn out to be the doggone, all of a sudden the perpetrator and the policeman is done like that? And I'm telling you now, if this trial goes sideways and they don't get justice, I'm not speaking for the people that protest. They speak for themselves. I'm not speaking for the rioters. They're speaking what they're rioting. I'm not speaking for the looters. They're speaking for themselves. I'm speaking for that person that's sitting home right now that ain't protesting, he ain't rioting, he ain't looting, but he's angry. And he's sick and tired of watching this whole thing go down, and suddenly he's going to snap and go postal. I'm not even talking about the coward or whoever shot up the police station. See, they shot up in the nighttime and they disappeared. I'm talking about somebody that goes straight Rambo or Jason Bourne on y'all, and then we'll be burying policemen. And when we bury policemen and you start burying us, then we're going to come to this table and we're going to have a serious conversation. I've served every constable precinct 7 from A.B. Chambers to May Walker. I've served on, Congresswoman, the Safety and Justice Challenge with the sheriff to reduce the number of people that's in the jail and to end the disparity. We make up 18% of Harris County, but we're 48 to 50% of the jail population. I've served on with Councilman Kamen on the Mayor's Anti-Gun Violence Commission. And I've served with working with Collective Healing Initiative, which the funding runs out in September. Collective Healing looks out for victims of crime, the DA department and HPD. It looks out for officer wellness. and it looks out for community police relationships. But that funding runs out in September. It's a grant given by the International Association of Chiefs of Police through the Department of Justice to HPD. And if we don't renew that, then all the good work that we've been doing goes down the drain. So lastly, I want to close by saying, looking at the Senate bill, I don't know how you do it, Congresswoman, but I know how I'm going to do it. What do we need one more commission for? It says here, we're going to create 2 commissions to study and offer solutions to the broader range of challenges facing black men and boys and criminal justice systems as a whole. Oh, so we're going to have another Kerner Commission? Kerner Commission in 1968 came back with conclusions that were absolutely correct. We're 2 societies, one black, one white, separate and unequal. They were right. And then they gave recommendations and none of them were followed. Then you had the National Commission on Causes of Prevention and Violence after the assassination of Bobby Kennedy. Same thing. How many more commissions we gonna have and then you gonna come back and study it and give it and nothing happens? This is the final call. On July 4th, Minister Farrakhan's gonna give what he said his final speech. He's not gonna speak anymore. He's gonna give a global international address and then he's shutting it down. At that point, if we're not going to come together, then this country is going to unravel. And as this country unravels, because these people are angry about you taking their Confederate flags, their Confederate statues. Why? Because, and let me tell you something, Trump wasn't lying when he said people didn't know nothing about Juneteenth. We knew about Juneteenth. We were insulted, but the white people don't know nothing about Juneteenth because they're not educated about it. Studying history in high school for me was like watching ESPN's top 10 plays of the day. Top 10 white plays of the day. And black history is only what we have accomplished after slavery and fighting second-class citizenship. The first city council, black city council, the first librarian, the first this, that, and the other. Hell, we built the pyramids, but we live in the CUNY home projects. We conquered Spain and Portugal. We gave white people the guitar. We gave them civilization. Spain and Portugal was never in the Dark Ages because black people, Muslims, occupied that for 700 years. We created the Renaissance for the white people, and yet we're sitting around here celebrating second-class citizenship. And last thing, if we don't atone for the original sin of America, and it's not just slavery alone, it's also the genocide of the American Indians. And as far as the Hispanics concerned, the theft of their land. Oh yes, we took the land. We took New Mexico, Texas, California, parts of Utah and Colorado from them and California. And until we resolve that and have a discussion and teach true history, then we're going to be constantly in this, and they'll come back again. There are forces, Congresswoman, as I close, that are vested interests in the criminal justice system as it is. There are people who are selling the sheriff salt and pepper. They don't want their money cut. If we clear out the jail, they lose their business. There's people in the prison industrial complex, from the telephone people, all these people that make money and the slave labor in our system. So this Policing Act, there's nothing in it I see that can't be supported, Congresswoman. What about a civilian review board with subpoena power if under Section 366? I know that'll make people's hair stand on their head.
It is in there under the trust. It is in there under the Law Enforcement Trust and Integrity Act, where it has the ability for civilian review board with subpoena power.
And I thank you for your time, and I yield back the balance of my time.
I thank you so very much. I wanted Sadiyaa, Evangelista, will you give us just a brief word? Thank you so very much. You are a defense counsel. You are a former staffer. You are a mother. You are fantastic. Thank you for your service and leadership.
Thank you, Congresswoman. To the family, it took me a while, Brother Dave, to watch the video. I had to make it a duty upon myself to watch this video as a mother. I'm a mother of 7. 4 girls, 3 boys. Black boys. And so when I heard Brother George cry out to his mother, and she's no longer in this realm, it was a universal cry for all mothers to stand up and do something. Our dear Sister Figueroa, she said that she's a bootleg preacher. But she brought to my mind the mother who cried to the judge.